5 minutes alone, I call it, quick five questions to get to
Okay.
know you a little better.
Okay.
And the first question is, when was the first time you heard a piece of music, and what was that piece of music that made you go, "That's what I want to do"?
Um, well, want to do professionally or just because I mean, growing up in the UK in the 60s,
Mm,
I was listening to everything that was happening at the time. But I never really thought to follow it until I was really fortunate when I was 15 in my little town south of London. They opened up the back of a pub, a blues club, and I saw all these incredible bands. They snuck me into the back of the pub because I was too young
mm.
legally to go in. But the older boys knew that I was interested in playing guitar and everything. And I saw Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac a
Wow.
few times. That was incredible. Free before they were called Free. They were called Black Cat Bones. And At the moment, have you heard of a band called the Yardbirds?
Yes, yeah, I know the Yardbirds. Yeah.
Well, every week I play with the drummer from the Yardbirds. Now, when sometimes I say to people down here, "Have you heard of the Yardbirds?" I said, "No." I said, "Haven't you heard of Eric Clapton,
Jeff
Jeff Beck,
Beck.
Jimmy Page?"
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the Yardbirds, man.
Yeah.
And Jim McCarthy, the drummer, he lives just a couple of villages away from me. So we do a blues band, a little jamming every week. And at the time, I didn't appreciate that this was a fundamental part of modern music. You know, the British discovering blues and sending it back to the Americans. You know,
Mm.
at the time, anyway.
Yeah. Is your blues band still called the Purple Helmets, or have you got a new name?
No, that's called it's called Strange Bird. The Purple Helmets. That was the Purple Helmet. That was a band. We'd taken the Stranglers had taken a year off for
Mm.
sabbaticals. I got bored, so I just wanted to play in bars because the real bands come from bars.
Yeah.
That's how you know. And I'm really proud of the fact that we started that out in bars. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've found that, and I assume you have as well. That sometimes you can write a song whether it's in the studio or in the rehearsal room or in your bedroom, whatever, and you think it's finished, but it's not until you actually go out and play it. It continues to grow once you're playing it live.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So sometimes when you've recorded a song and it hasn't been aired much or played much, it evolves so much when you by the real playing of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, that's how it grows. What about when you come down here in March? If I get the opportunity to take you for a drink,
Yeah,
what's your
I'm up for
poison?
that.
What's your poison these days? What's your go-to?
I'll drink anything.
Oh,
I'm predominantly a wine drinker. I mean, I live right in the middle of the capital of rosé in France, in the south of France, Côte de Provence.
wow.
So, the rosé, we drink far too much of it.
Well, you got to keep them in business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think they can survive without my help. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe not, maybe not. Now, as we've already talked about, 50 years in black is the tour. You've toured for a long time with a lot of different people, guys in your own band, people in other bands. What is the most disgusting habit of someone you've toured with?
Wow, that's a disgusting habit. I think it's just being fucking rude to people and condescending and thinking that you're the center of the universe.
Yeah,
I really don't like that.
yeah, no, fair, fair. What are you reading at the moment? What's on the bedstand?
Sorry, what?
What are you reading at the moment? What's on the bedstand?
I'm reading a book about the Dark Ages, which aren't so dark now because
Mm-mm.
we're finding so much more from excavations and archaeology. So the period between 800 and 1100 in Europe,
Yeah,
because it's quite fascinating, all the the Vikings and the Danes, and my background is Norman. My parents are Normans, so when I was a kid, I grew up playing on the beaches, which I didn't realise if only a few years before had been the centre of massacres.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm fascinated with all that.
Yeah, I mean, because if I'm right, remembering this, wasn't Rollo one of the Vikings that got given the
Yeah,
dukedom of Normandy, and that's why it's
yes,
called
exactly.
Normandy?
Whoa, you're impressing me. Yeah, Rollo was a Viking chieftain who grabbed that piece of land. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Was he? He was paid off, wasn't he, by the Frankish king? Basically, can you stop the rest of the Vikings, and we'll give you this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so you come from that stock.
Well, that's my parents. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's outstanding. I've actually just been listening to a podcast, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I don't know if you've ever heard him. He's an
No?
American and he's a journalist. He's got a journalistic background, but
Right.
he just does these. I don't know how he does it. Like his each podcast is like 5.5 hours, but
Right.
he just basically just talks about the history and how it developed, and and he's done a two-parter on the Vikings, which is about 10 hours long.
Right.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Fascinating. I've just finished
Well, I'm
listening to it too.
impressed. You know about Rollo.
Yeah, there you go. My I come from a family of, well, not historians technically in terms of that's what they do, but people that always love history and read about history and got
Yeah,
brought up with it, right? You got to know where you come from to know where you're going.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Um,
cool.
if a kid comes up to you today, JJ, and says, "What is rock and roll?" and you can answer them by giving them one record, what record are you going to give them?
Ooh la la. Uh, that is the hardest. That's that's a poser. I can't answer that. I don't think. I think it would. Uh, there's so many candidates, aren't there?
There are a lot of candidates. Oh, mate, shall I simplify it for you? Shall I say, if there's anybody listening to this that's going to come to the Stranglers in New Zealand, March 13th at the Power Station, 15th at Meow Nui in Wellington, or the Christchurch Town Hall on the 16th, what's the one Stranglers album they should listen to before they come?
Ooh, it. Well, either the last one, Dark Matters, because it
Mm.
just kind of encapsulates 50 years of different ways of doing stuff,
Mm.
or The Raven,
Yep.
which is quite a complete album. I mean, there are others, but they're a bit more experimental and they might turn people off.
Well, there you go. I mean, that I think that you've done that well because I was waiting for you to turn around and say the greatest hits. So I'm glad you didn't say that.
No.
JJ, appreciate your time, my friend. I really look forward to seeing you down here. And like I say, if you get the opportunity to come, I know you're probably going to land a day or two earlier than the show, so you can
Yeah,
recover.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
So
loved
we'll
it.
have 2 or 3 days free in Auckland just to recover and have a drink with you if you want.
Yeah, well, mate, might have to get you on the ferry out to Waiheke Island, where it's like being in the south of France, strangely,
Wow.
and there's like 20 vineyards on the island, so
Oh,
could be a good place.
well, I have been drinking some Kiwi wine, so
Yeah, mate, just expand the palate.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
beautiful,
Nice
JJ.
speaking to you.
Yeah,
Nice
great
talking
speaking
to
to you
you.
too, man. I've really enjoyed our chat, and I look forward to catching up with you when you're down here.
Ah, look forward to it, man.
All
All the
right.
best.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much.
So long. So long.
So long. Bye bye.